Welcome, welcome, welcome. Here we are again. I'm so grateful that I get to share my being with you. I feel very, very blessed that we get on these calls and we consistently come back together and accept to do this work together. And yeah, it touches me very deeply, and I can only hope that you go deeper and deeper and deeper into the heart of your soul, where feeling how important and valuable and precious this time is that we have together is. It's so easy to get lost in the 3D world and all the things, involved in the needs of the body to survive. It's so easy to get lost. It's not lost, but it's so easy to get distracted in that world that then we forget what the most important thing we have is, which is our consciousness and our sovereignty, and where we bring our energy. And at the end of the day, we are always that is the definition of sovereignty, is the ability to decide and choose where you will bring your energy at any time. So that said, soul sovereignty is the path. It's our goal. It's our soul goal to get back to this place where we're like, I am the consciousness, and I will decide where I put my attention. That's our goal. The reality for most humans, and the reality for even us that do this work, is for many of us, we are still encapsulated within an egoic structure that has its own needs of integrity, which have nothing to do with the sovereignty of our soul. So if I just use a little example, like sure, yeah, meditating is great, but I still need to go work and pay the bills. And it doesn't mean, it's not that it's not true, but at the end of the day, where your attention is in your body is your superpower. Your attention is the deepest service you can offer. It's the soul service you came here to do. And we've been working with, these 4 directions since January. And our goal is to be able to embody more and more light in a grounded vessel, so that we can be pillars. Pillars that, this is not about being pillars like, look at me, I'm a pillar. This is about being pillars where your energy field and your ability to hone in your attention are fine-tuned enough that you can be of service to the higher and higher frequencies of light that are seeking to come down and descend into form. There's a concept that Richard Brett discusses, it calls it involution. There's evolution, which is kind of like matter going towards more and more complex understanding of itself. And involution is like the pure spirit and its descent into form. And once that pure spirit, that divine essence, once it descends into form completely, what we will have is spiritualized matter. And we can't even understand what the frick that's going to look like. But just to give you an idea, there's been stages and phases as this energy has gone down, in the involution process. There's names for it, but let's not get stuck on names. As the crown frequency and the third eye frequency and the throat frequency and the heart frequency and the solar plexus frequency. And that's kind of where we're at right now, where the solar plexus being the personal mind, that's the level of embodiment of divine energy that we've been in for a long time, a couple thousand years, these things. And it's also called the Kali age of whatever destruction. It just means we are encapsulated in our mind. We are in our mental structure. And because we have this neocortex and we're able to think, it makes us believe that we're separate from others, because I'm able to have thoughts that you're not having. I'm able to hold this, and if I'm holding this, you're not holding it. And this whole, it creates the ability to think in terms of separation. And as we re-expand and break through the veil of seeing everything through the interface of the mind, we will come back more and more into a collective I, an ability to understand that it's not, the ego and the mind sees reality as like, I am at the center. I am at the center, and there's all these things around me, these people, these objects, these things. And we're coming back, the involution process as it happens, and this solar plexus mutation that I'm going to talk about, as it comes to be, we will have a fully physically embodied experience that we are a collective I, not a separate individualistic I. And that is huge. That's what's called ascension. That's what's called, like the age of Aquarius and all these little names. And it's a process that's been unfolding for a long, long time. And we're getting closer and closer to finally, it's not transcending. Transcending is not the right word. We are about to, I'll use because I can't think of another one. We're about to transcend the mind as the interface through which we are interacting with things. And the condition for that to happen, one of the most important conditions for that to happen, is related to the emotional reality. We, as a collective species, come into this world. We have a biological body. This biological body is an evolutionary process, right? So this biological body functions out of survival, how to survive, how to manage life. And that's like the lower mind, the fear-based mind, like the amygdala, the reptilian brain, and most of the limbic brain. It's a fear-based system, which, in order to protect the physical body from danger, is healthy. There's nothing wrong with being aware. That's dangerous to my body. I need to do something about it. But, and this is a big but, we are victims of it in the sense that we are not in a conscious place of decision of how will I use this information, okay? As fear and as emotions are governed by a biochemical reaction in the body, your mind is then trying to like deal with the consequences of that. I think any of us know when an emotion takes over, to what extent do any of us feel like like we're not controlling that? It's, or someone else's emotion and how it affects us. So the solar plexus mutation that has been talked about in human design is relating very specifically to the next phase of evolution, the next quantum leap that we are about to experience. And there's even kind of like a date on it of when our solar plexus and all the ganglia of nerves there will become a tool that gives us information, because the emotion going down in the plexus will no longer be processed by the fear brain. And we were talking a little bit before I recorded, and some of us are already touching on that. Some of us are already starting to feel what it feels like to be aware. There's all this like, "Rah!" And at the same time, I feel peaceful. I'm able to feel some peace. That's the beginning of that mutation. And the key dates given for this, there was the harmonic convergence in 1987, which was like huge big chunk of the beginning of the great change that we're in. Then 2012, woo, we've all heard about that, and everyone's like, nothing happened. A whole bunch of stuff happened, but it did not happen at a physical level. It happened at an energetic level and a DNA level. And now the one coming up is in 2027. And it's super important. It's very interesting because there's a bunch of different people talking about 2027. Some people say it's when we're going to start seeing aliens. Some people say it's when there's going to be like disclosure, this, that, 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 that. The most important thing that's going to happen from that moment on is the like official kicking in of that solar plexus mutation process, which will lead to the emergence of a new human being. Okay? So this is going to lead to the next quantum leap in the evolution of humans. And there will be more and more humans that will be born that will already have that solar plexus mutation, which means that they could be in an environment that's full of emotions and they will be able to feel it all, but they won't be victims of it anymore. They will be able to feel it all. They will be able to understand, oh, there's all these emotions, all these waves, all these things going on all around me, but they will not lose their peace. Because it'll simply be that it's just, that's an energy, that's an information, that's an energy that's moving around. And these beings being born in families are going to have a profound effect. I'm saying future, but some of them are already here. Like, it's going to have a profound effect on the emotional wave that we're all kind of like stuck in. And it's like, if you look at the collective unconscious, it looks like an ocean. It looks like an energetic ocean of a bunch of emotions. A bunch of emotions. We're talking like emotions from thousands and thousands of years ago. We're talking about pain and suffering from, it's in the genetics, it's in the ancestral, and that there's a purging happening right now. There's a purging happening right now. And those of us who are willing to do that work, we find ourselves purging like crazy. Like sometimes I cry so deeply that I'm like, how can this be only my little 5-year-old little girl that didn't have a daddy crying this? It's like, it feels like an ocean, an ocean of what? Of every single person that hasn't had a dad. I don't even know. But at a certain point, it's like just being open to the process. It's like the more we allow and give permission to expand our field and to be pillars, that's part of the work. It's part of the work. And I don't mean like take on everyone's emotions. No, don't do that. Don't do that. But when there's a process going through you, when there are emotions, when energies in motion come through you, be available for the process. This is tricky because there's a difference between getting all in the story that's generating hard pain. I don't know if you remember that from last year, but like there's the soft pain, which is the actual wound, the actual pain somewhere, that like a deep emotion in us that's hurting. There's that. And then there's all the story our ego made up about it, about why we deserve it and why we're this and why we're that and why they're like this and why no one's ever going to love us and all that stuff. And that stuff, that story, that can make us cry a lot. Okay? But that's not the purging I'm talking about. Like, we're not talking about getting stuck in that little drama movie. We're talking about actually going to the real, the real thing going on in there, which is way deeper than, that one. You can tell the difference because when it starts talking, you start having emotions related to the thoughts. This is like a, oof, there's like so much to understand in here, like in healing the split all last year, that we did a lot about that. But there's a purging going on and it's not anywhere near being done. We're in 2024, okay? And we still got a little while till 2027. And I don't touch astrology a lot, but even in astrology, we're in like Jupiter, whatever. It's like a big Pisces phase, which is about grieving. which is about grieving. After the fear and the of our COVID stuff and all that stuff, and like 2 years of lockdown and blah, blah, blah. Now there's a grieving. There's a grieving of the world that will never be the same again. And thank God, even though part of us wants it to, there's a grief about that. There's a grief about all the pain and suffering that has been held in the collective unconscious of humanity for so long. Like, come on, you just read a history book, like there's a lot in there. And there's grief. It's interesting what's coming in. There is grief. There's even grief inside of us about what will die in us, as we transition. That concept of an individual me, that concept of an inner child, a lot of that is going to die too, because for us to expand and become a collective I, there can't be little separate I's with their little separate stories anymore. Little separate I's with separate stories that can blame other separate I's and separate stories. Like all of that will like, blah. It'll just kind of, if I stick to my idea of the collective unconscious being like an ocean, it's got big waves. It's got a bunch of stuff going on, this emotion and this, and it's going to become still. It's going to become still. And it's very hard for us to even comprehend what that's going to be like. Can you imagine? Can you even for a second try to hold in your mind what would decisions look like from a place where I'm not encapsulated in my mind and I'm not a victim to my emotional states, where I'm connected, where consciousness is one being, and we're not seeking anymore. We're not trying to figure out how. We're not trying to go get something out there to stuff the hole in our hearts. All of that's over. And we've recalibrated into the symphony of being, not doing, not having, not thinking, being. And from a place of being, all that's left to do is enjoy being. Like, can you imagine us being on this earth as one collective consciousness that has reconnected to its divine essence, that knows what it is, that doesn't live in an encapsulated fear system where the mind and the emotions and the body all get hijacked by that. What is left is to be stewards of this earth. What is left is to artistically express our being and just, man, I want that. Like, whoa, that sounds awesome. And in order to get there, we need to purge. We need to grieve. We need to allow that transformation to happen. In order for emotions to no longer be a force, something that has force over us, power over us, we need to fully embody the divine energy within us. And that means there's a lot of fear to face in that process, of course. Because what's going to be left of me? What's going to be left of my little story and my little wounds? So it's like we've got this egoic story, and because we've been stuck in it for so long, it's super fucking scary to let it go. Because it's like, what else is there? It's just, and then, nothing. And no, it's not true. There's the path of your soul, which is a way cooler adventure. A way cooler adventure than the little world that the ego made up with a bunch of stories and justifications for why it didn't get what it needed and blah, 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 blah. And life doesn't make any sense. And if there was a God, blah, 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 all that. That's the little story. All of us, we want to crack open that shell, face the fear and the emotion craziness of like, and then discover something way, way deeper. It's like Course in Miracles talks about it as the peace, the love, and the joy that have no opposite. It has no opposite. The fulfillment is complete because you've come back inside the only place you will ever be fulfilled, through the inner world, through the inner self. Joy, finally, to be understood for what it is, a state, not an effect. It's a state of being. It's not, once I get this, I'll be joyful. That's an effect, and that requires a cause. And as long as there's a cause for you to have an effect, you're a victim. Like, it sounds crazy to say it like that, but that's really what it comes down to. As long as you think there is a cause outside of you, or even inside of you in your thoughts, that determine if you can be happy, if you can feel peace, if you can be joy, we are still victims. So that's a pretty cool mutation. It'll literally be the end of the ability of any form of victim mentality. And I'm not trying to bash victim mentality, because like the reality is you come into this world, you go through a bunch of frequency bands. Some of them are full of fear. You feel all the pain and suffering that humanity went through before you got here. Then you incarnate in a family. They have a bunch of belief systems. They program you with a bunch of stuff, and you're like a little, until you're 9, you're just absorbing all that like it's true. And then you're walking around with that. We kind of are victims. We're victims of the belief systems that we received, all the programming, the cultural, the conditioning stuff, all that, it came all in. And until we start realizing like, whoa, that's not really what I am, then we are victims of it. And it's like, it's part of our evolution or involution. I'm not sure which one I want to say, but it's part of the process. It's part of the process. So more and more, please don't think that ascension is when I will have transcended all my emotional states and my thoughts. That it, because this is the tricky thing when we use transcend, it means I will rise above it. Like it's it's a little bit cocky actually. I'll rise above it and it won't affect me anymore. No. The reason it will not affect you anymore is because you will have gone into it so completely that you transmute it from the inside out, by coming back to the inner self, by coming back to the inner peace, by coming back to the inner joy that are in no way dependent on anything going on, whether in your head, in your biochemical reaction called emotions, or coming from other people around you. And something amazing happens. The more of us embody that, it's like I don't know what you call it, a logarithmic thing. The more people embody a certain energy, the more it becomes accessible to others. But not only that, but the more you can embody a higher frequency, that higher frequency embodied in one person can affect thousands of people, maybe even hundreds of thousands of people at a lower level of frequency. Because that rising up, it's like it's like I would imagine like a fabric, and then if I would grab the fabric and I would lift it, the fabric would kind of like go like that, right? Like it's kind of like it's bringing up, it brings everything up. One person reaching enlightenment creates the possibility for a whole bunch of people to all of a sudden get unstuck out of loops of shame and guilt and fear that they've been in for maybe their whole lives. And you haven't gone to talk to them, you haven't done anything with them. All you've done is accept to do your inner work. All you've done is you've had the courage to do the work, the great work of our times. Man. The reality is that, we have been living from a state of our physical body having a huge impact on our ability to understand and process energies. And ascension is about tapping into our spiritual bodies more and more. But it's not by saying, okay, well, body, you're afraid, so, whatever, just, I don't know if you remember, but I said trust. Trust is physical. It's a physical reality. It's not up here. Peace is up here. So your body is either calibrating below 200 in the Hawkins scale and experiencing the fear band frequency, where you are a victim of things. And as you choose to have the courage to go up and to let go of the ego juice, of whatever negative emotions you were working with, and you accept to transmute them from the inside, you step up into courage more and more. That sheet, that fabric, you're coming up, and it's like it's bringing everything up, and then from courage, you're like, okay, I'm willing to do this work. It's scary, but I'm willing to do it, and that brings you up eventually into acceptance, of what is, acceptance of the past that you went through, acceptance of whatever, of what humanity has done to each other, acceptance of all of that, which releases it, allows you to become more and more neutral. And the more you can be neutral, the more all of a sudden you start accessing a much higher functioning of your brain. The brain is no longer hijacked by fear, and it will completely change the structure of how your brain processes information. And this is a super key thing, because that's how emotions become information and are no longer something screaming at you. When we talk about someone that's experiencing enlightenment, or even if we just talk about you managing to go beyond the fear band frequency into what Gene Keys calls the gift frequency, what David Hawkins calls the frequency of, what does he call it? He has a name for it, between 200 and 500. Whatever name we give it, it's like you are moving out of your biological animal-based brain structure, and you're starting to discover your etheric brain. You're starting to tap into a much more subtle processing of your brain. And it's like the way that looks, it's like the energy, the Kundalini energy, that's the name it's been given. You can feel that energy coming up your spine and into your brain. It completely changes the way you're processing things. When we're still in the fear brain, the information comes right in through the fear brain, because you're a lizard and you need to protect yourself. And then as we learn to calm the body, all the meditations we're doing this year, that's what they're about. Bringing trust deep in the body and peace in the mind. And then we start being able to feel the more subtle energy, feel the spiritual energy flowing in us. And we're able to envelop and be spiritual beings, not just physical reality. I wrote something somewhere. What I said, our physical experience of emotional energy. It's very intense and somewhat violent. Like, negative emotions are violent. Fear and anger and despair, and these are it's super strong in the system. But the more we go into that spiritual subjective experience of ourselves, the more we tap into subtle energies, and the more we tap into subtle emotions, very different, bliss and love, but they're not emotions, but softer emotions, amusement. It's an interesting one to work with. Like, oh, wow, cool. Okay. It'll get more and more subtle. And then even when you're around high intensity emotions from other people, you'll be able to regulate yourself more and more. There's so many things so many things I'd want to say in relation to this. It'd be like a, like a 3 month, 3 month, 6 hour a week lecture course if I could give it. My goal is to drop some knowledge into the field, and then we go into a meditation, and we do the work. We embody the energy and we learn to work with it. So I just, once again, just like I started, I want to express my gratitude to all of you for being here with me and for accepting to do this work. And, to those who get to hear this on YouTube, I hope that the information lands deep in you and that you consider coming to do the work with us. Because in order for us to stand as pillars of light, we need to do this work. We need to declutter our energetic fields. There needs to be room not only for, higher frequency emotions to come through, but there needs to be room for all the emotional energy that we're holding to be processed. Whether that is your own little emotional energy, whether that's emotional energy from the genetic line you're incarnated on, or from the ancestors, or just in an even bigger scheme of things, just that entire ocean of the collective unconscious. That's how we do this. Like, I don't, these pillars, for me, if I look at them, the way I see them, it's like pillars standing. Often they're standing on specific points of the earth grid. And by our acceptance to do this work, we're all kind of pulling that fabric up. We're all pulling that fabric up, which allows, it's like, instead of that collective unconscious, like, dense energy, like kind of packed down and trying to emerge as waves, it's like, ooh, something gets lifted a bit, and there's a little bit of room. There's more room for it to get processed. There's more room for it to be transmuted. So please don't be in this place where you think your goal is to ascend and leave and transcend this place. Your goal is to be a pillar that stands as a transmutational conductor. This isn't about how do I become enlightened? At this point, it's about how do we as a collective experience this? How does the collective I come to that experience? Wow. What a cool time to be alive. So that said, I'm going to bring us into a nice meditation. And I'm going to work on all these levels I've been working with in the field. So please take the time to get comfortable, and see you on the other side of when this video ends and the next one starts.